So we literally only have one more day, two more nights, and we will have the Switch. Literally tomorrow night or Friday morning, however you want to put it. We will have the Switch in our hands. We'll be able to play the game that everyone wants to play, and that is Breath of the Wild for the Nintendo Switch. Now, I had the luxury of listening to a video by Shokio where he was making the argument that the Switch is a rushed device. And some of the arguments he made, I actually stated in my own video yesterday, where I said I'm not as excited for the Switch as I am for Breath of the Wild. And that's a true statement. He made that statement. I can't help but agree with him. I'm more excited for Breath of the Wild than I am actually the device that it's going to be on. Now, the thing is, I think that's how all gamers are supposed to be. I think we're supposed to be excited for the games that are coming, not necessarily the hardware that is coming on. I mean, we're supposed to be excited, but what is the hardware without the games, right? But anyway, he went on to talk about how the Switch is rushed or incomplete. And while that might be the case if you choose to focus on those aspects that he feel like justify the opinion that he has that the system is rushed, meaning no Netflix, no internet, no virtual console, no games, in his opinion, outside of Breath of the Wild. These are all Shokio's opinion, right? Some of these have merit. Some of these have talking points that where he might be able to make those arguments and statements and not have to feel bad about making them. But my thing is this. I remember, folks, and I saw him put in the comment section that two wrongs don't make a right when he was talking about both Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. But that's just my point. If two wrongs don't make a right, why wasn't it wrong then? Why nobody had nothing to say when you was only playing Resogun and Killzone Shadowfall, which was garbage. And I remember saying, hey, this game is going to be garbage. But anyway, that's outside the point. So we spent more. Many of you guys spent more than $2.99 for a indie game and a horrible but nice looking shooter or a racing game. I mean, it was more justification for buying an Xbox One than it was a PlayStation 4, but looking back on it, PlayStation 4 still sold as if there was a lot there to be enjoyed. But my thing is this, does that make a thing incomplete? Not in my opinion. To me, what would make us think system art, or what? Let me say, not rushed. Does it make it rushed? And in my opinion, I would say no. That doesn't mean it's rushed. If you're saying it's rushed because they wanted to make sure it was launched with Breath of the Wild, then okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure they did do that. Or they moved it to make sure it was launching with Breath of the Wild. But to me, that's a smart move. That's a smart business decision. Why not release it with one of the greatest games probably of all times? Why not do that? It seemed to work for the Wii. We didn't buy the Wii for Wii Sports. We bought the Wii for Twilight Princess. Wii Sports just happened to be a gem that we didn't know was going to be a gem. So let's not be hypocritical here. Every one of these launches are subpar. Every time we go out and buy a new console, we basically spending a whole bunch of money for stuff that's coming later. So why is it a problem with Nintendo? I don't care about not having internet. I got internet on my phone. So if I'm out and about and I happen to have my Switch, I can surf the internet right here on my Samsung Galaxy. Netflix, okay, if that's a big deal to you. And indie titles, well, that's what Sony had for a while, or old titles that were being ported over or upscaled onto your PlayStation 4 if you still had the disc of the PlayStation 3 version, like with Call of Duty and other games. That's what you had at launch, but people still bought the system. So this what would make it rush to me. If you went out and bought the system and brought it home and it wouldn't play the games that you're buying with it, or there was something wrong with the hardware that was causing it to fail on you, or overheat, or malfunction, then we can say the system is rushed. But to me, if it ain't doing that, if it's playing the games, then it ain't rushed. It means it was ready. Now, if you want certain features, that comes with just about every device. There are certain features that come later. Now, I'm not going to go into, because that's your opinion. You have the right to have that opinion. But I don't buy a Switch to watch Netflix. And I'm not buying the Switch to necessarily jump on the internet. I'm buying the Switch to play games. Just like I bought the PlayStation 4 was to play games. I barely touched the internet. I buy it to play games. I bought the Xbox One to play certain games. So I'm buying the Switch to play a certain game. Right now, the justification for that is Breath of the Wild. Now, you say the indie titles, we don't buy. We don't. I agree with you. I don't buy for the indie titles, but some do. And I'm starting to learn that. Some do buy for the indie titles. And they have a lot of good indie titles that I will be willing to buy. And it fit in line with what the Switch is trying to be. The portable device that it's trying to be, those titles make sense on the Switch. Those quick, while I'm en route to wherever I'm going type of titles. While I can play the Breath of the Wild. And looking at the games that are coming, they look more appealing than what I've seen on other platforms at launch. I'm just being honest. So I think it's more preference than actually incomplete. Your preference would have been that it had Netflix. Your preference would have been that it had internet browser on it. All these things are coming. That's fine with me. Just as long as I can play the games. And if they make sure the Joy-Con, the left Joy-Con is taken care of in the day one update, I'm fine. That's my opinion. But I just thought I would just share that. And two, one thing you said that we had to wait 4 months so that it can launch with the Breath of the Wild. We had to endure 4 months extra. Well, you just said it's rushed, so I mean, so you wanted to come out 4 months earlier and be even more rushed by your own statement. I mean, I didn't get that line, but I feel what you're saying in some aspects, and other aspects I don't. I feel like we tend to say stuff when it comes to all this could be said every time a system launch. That's all I'm saying. And so what's the point of saying it now? When you could have said it with the PlayStation 4, you could say it with the Xbox One. Matter of fact, you could say it with cell phones and all that. There's a lot of stuff at day one that could say that something is rushed. But as long as it's working and it does what it's supposed, its main function, which the Switch can do, that's all that matters. And then the other stuff is just perks and icing. Internet browser is icing. That's a cherry on top too. Netflix is a cherry on top too. So that's how I look at it. But anyway, I want to get you guys' thoughts on that. But I do agree. If there was no Breath of the Wild, it wouldn't be as appealing as it is. And that's a true statement. I agree with that. But anyway, this is your boy Levelhead signing out. Let me know what you think. One more day, folks. 2 more evenings. And we got the Switch. Till next time, deuces.